crafty friends, this is Tracy at A Trace of Tradition, and I'm here to share a project that I made this month, July 2026, as a guest designer for Shabby Art Boutique's The Craft Room. I'm using the paper kit that was released in July 2026, exclusive to The Craft Room. It's called Velvet Rose Antiques, and it showcases Carrie Ann English, the owner and founder of Shabby Art Boutique. It showcases her beautiful hand-painted artistry. She hand-paints the designs, and then she turns them into digital format to share, sometimes on Etsy. This particular kit is specifically exclusive to the Craft Room membership. So I'm going to show you a little walkthrough. This is a tag-shaped mini journal, and it's going to walk us through Velvet Rose Antiques and the collection of vintage treasures that Mrs. Pemberton has in her little shop. So let's take a little tour of the shop through this little mini journal. I'm gonna open it up. And the first department we come to is the lace cupboard. And you can see all the beautiful materials, buttons, findings, laces, quilts, all the beautiful fiber art joys in this little lace cupboard department. A little lace sample for sale. There's this beautiful sewing machine, a bowl of pins, buttons, and this beautiful dress form. And I have added some dimension here with some flowers and also some tulle. And I did this this little embellishment is in honor of one of our craft room members who is known for her beautiful dimensional details, and I tried to emulate that to honor her. Right. I'm going to turn the page, and we have now entered the book nook department. And oh, we have a beautiful clock that's for display only. And the reason that it is for display only, the little resident mouse mascot in the Velvet Rose Antique shop has set up a little book nook there in the clock. A little special place for her. So I think she's added that little tag for display only so that her clock will not be sold among the other vintage treasures. And then I have a little bookshelf, the selection of books, and the tag here is as you can see, author, title, due date. That's a little library card. All of these papers, all the ephemera, everything is included in the July 2026 collection in the craft room called Velvet Rose Antiques. Let's go visit the next department. Oh, this is Mrs. Pemberton's special collection. And she has many treasures, some vintage hats, eyeglasses, a little brooch that I have added some sparkle and shine to with stickles. And then got the idea to add glossy accents from one of the design team members. She did that with a piece, and thought that was a brilliant idea. The design team members are all so talented, and of course Carrie Ann English, the owner and artist of Shabby Art Boutique, is so gracious and has built a wonderful team to share and showcase her beautiful artwork. All right, we're still in Mrs. Pemberton's collection. It says beautiful things deserve to be cherished. And then there's a little tag here that says carefully selected by Mrs. Pemberton. And there are some special paper goods that Mrs. Pemberton carries in her collection area. There's some vintage photographs there. And these are true vintage photograph copies. And then there's a little inventory sheet to keep track of her inventory. And here's a little bundle of postcards and business cards. And there's a little tag that says a delightful recent discovery. So that's a sweet bundle that journalers would love to discover as they're browsing the shop. And a little price tag, inventory tag, one of a kind. So that is Mrs. Pemberton's, the beginning of her collection. And then there is a little trinket box, a perfume bottle, a little lock, and it says every old treasure carries a little piece of someone else's story. So let's see what we can discover inside the little trinket box. And inside the trinket box we have, oh, the little mouse has found another little hiding spot. She's in a little teacup hiding in the trinket box. And this is our little velvet lined trinket box. As you can see, I backed these little treasures on velvet ribbon to protect them. And then there's a little cameo with a little brass key also backed on the velvet ribbon to symbolize the velvet trimmed box. I'll talk about the little interactive details at the end if anybody's interested in that. This is after I give the little tour. And then we have little curiosity corner is the final department inside the beautiful antique shop. There's a little typewriter, little inventory sheet someone is typing up. It's a little hidden pocket so it can come in and out. It says some treasures only appear once. And then here's some more items from Curiosity Corner. There are several little pieces. All of these are ephemera found in Carrie Ann English's July 2026 kit released in the craft room. I've made these double-sided, added little price tags, but these are just items that can be found in Curiosity Corner. Some more inventory sheets. And then at the end, our little shopper that's been taking the tour, it says some treasures are meant to find you. And it looks as if the person taking the tour, you and I, have found some little treasures to purchase. And it says receipt, rose pattern teacup, vintage lace bundle, pocket watch, and antique postcard. And that again is a piece of ephemera from this kit. And there's a little business card and little flowers to kind of tie up the bundle. And the items that were on the receipt can be found inside the little packaging. An antique postcard, the pocket watch, a little rose pattern teacup, and it says the porcelain teacup with the pink rose pattern is said to have belonged to a traveling artist. So there were little notes from Mrs. Pemberton explaining where some of the antiques were found, or little stories behind the antiques, just as you'd find in a real vintage antique shop. And I've got a little lace bundle here. They say do not ever throw your scraps away, and as you can see, these little scraps rather. They say never to throw your scrap laces away because no piece is too small. And look, I've used all these little scraps to create this little lace bundle for the journal. So, and then we've got some little pull-out, because it is a journal, we've got some little pull-out journaling cards. These file folder tabs are part of the kit. The little lined files are part of the kit. This says the little brass key was found inside a tiny trinket box. No lock has yet been found. And let me find my little key. And I've got a little story behind this key. I'll explain at the end of the video. So this key, the little note says brass key, and these were the keys I had in my little stash. So I'm going to show you how I turned it into a gold or brass key. Here is a business card from Mrs. Pemberton and Velvet Rose Antiques, another little journaling card. And up here is another little pocket with a journaling card, these little side pockets. All right. So that is the little tour of Mrs. Pemberton's antique shop, Velvet Rose Antiques. If you would like to stick around and know some of the behind the scenes thoughts and trial and error and how I made the little tuck spots, how I did the little trinket box, I made that dimensional, and how that's a little magnet. The lid, I put a magnet on the lid and a magnet on the tag, so that's how that closes. But I'll explain more if you'd like to stick around. Otherwise, thanks so much for spending a little bit of time with me. I hope you have a blessed day and a wonderful week ahead, and I'll see you next time.